We've come all the way to Marylebone, across the city, to try the viral sensation that is l'entrecôte. If you're on social media, you've probably seen l'entrecôte. Their iconic food has racked up tens of millions of views online, and you usually have to queue around the block to get in. They're famous for having just one menu option, steak and fries with a salad to start. But we've heard their secret sauce is really the star of the show. It's said to always have a massive queue. Now, there doesn't look like a queue, so either Instagram's lying to us or we've beaten the crowds. We'll soon find out.
First reaction, I'm heaving. I actually feel like I'm in France. Everyone who comes here always bangs on about the green sauce. Chef's special sauce is what you call it. It's quite hard, apparently, to recreate. Cat actually hates salad. No on earth I'm eating that. Got my salad. It's almost got a little bit of like a pesto-y vibe. It's definitely got basil in there.
Oh yeah, it's just now.
Parmesan in there, definitely, for texture, or maybe it's the anchovy. Right? Definitely anchovy. And just like that, 3 refills. The sauce is an interesting one because it's very similar to a Café de Paris, but there's some key differences. It's almost got that like chalkiness you get with a Parmesan-based sauce. There's definitely basil, parsley, but it's been cooked. Right. Let's get back to the restaurant and see if we can make it ourselves.
So we're back in the restaurant. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take our potatoes. I'm not sure what variety of potatoes they use. I'd be interested to know. If anyone knows, pop it in the comments. So I'm going to cut these chips. Finest setting ours goes to. Our chip cutter is 8mm. Theirs might have been a fraction smaller, but I'm not sure, but let's see. We'll go with 8mm. In some cold water, just to wash off the starch. We've left the skin on ours. I couldn't quite tell if the skin was left on theirs. I think it was. It was quite a sweet potato, but I'm not sure which one it was, but so it kind of made the edges look dark anyway. I'm not sure if that was from the skin or from the sugar. Start the sauce next. So Will and I were chatting it through.
It's a Café de Paris essentially mixed with a salsa verde and no curry, but nutmeg instead.
Yeah, I agree. There must be some capers in there, or cornichons, one of the two.
Ground nut.
Ground almonds.
Really taste almonds.
Yeah, your palate's pretty useless. We're going to go in with some butter first. We're going to confit some shallots, get it nice and soft. We want it soft enough that we can blend it into a paste, into a puree. So first half of the butter goes on, shallots go in. So we've got our boneless sirloin there, just coming up to room temp nicely. We have our butter and our shallots just confiting down nicely on a low heat. Chervil and parsley for the green colour, as well as some basil, a little bit of tarragon. We're going to grate some fresh nutmeg in there, lemon juice for acidity, a little bit of caper, a few anchovies, some more butter, which we're going to put in towards the end, a bit fresher, and some walnuts. Into our bowl here, just going to get the mayo base ready. So we've got mustard, so we've got 1 egg yolk, Worcestershire sauce going into our mayo base. So we're going to turn our pan off now. Going to add the other bit of butter into our shallot, and then I'm going to add the rest of our ingredients one by one. So I've got some capers. Just going to keep the liquid back in case we need it for adjusting the seasoning. We've got our anchovies and our walnuts, which I'm just going to very roughly chop. The walnuts are going to add a little bit of nuttiness and obviously going to help with that mouthfeel. And then we're going to add the juice of half a lemon to start with. Well, I didn't eat the chips on purpose because I was trying to be healthy, but it turns out the sauce is just butter. Nutmeg goes in. So we've got parsley, we've got tarragon, we've got basil, and we've got chervil. Then we're just going to add this mixture into our egg yolk mix. Starting to come together nicely. The colour's there. Well, it's getting there bit by bit. I think it needs a touch more acidity. I'll just put a little bit of salt in there as well. And then we'll finish that off in a second. So we've got our skillet on nice and hot for our steak. Our fryer's on for our chips. Sauce is nearly ready. So we're going to heat up a little bit of the sauce to split it out and then add it back in. So nice hot pan, steak goes in. Cook our steaks the same way we would normally do it, which is nice hot pan. Just keep it moving. So we're going to let the crust develop for about 45 seconds to a minute max at a time before flipping it. That way, hopefully, we avoid any grey line on our steak. All right, now we're going to put our steak up to rest. So for our sauce, we've got 2 pans. We're going to split it 1/3 and 2/3. When I say split it out, we're just going to melt it and then it will separate. We'll add the 2/3 back into the 1/3 and it should give us the right consistency. So So that'll be heat up to split, and then we'll pour it into that one and then ready to serve. Okay, so oil's up to temp, 170. Chips are gonna go in. So from my understanding of why they've done the sauce like this, obviously the butter gives it the most incredible flavor. However, to get the sauce, obviously they're a busy restaurant, so they probably need to get their head on this and make big batches of it. So I think they've split it into 2/3, 1/3, so that they can reheat it, but the whole thing reheated is split. So I think they're then re-emulsifying it with some of the cold sauce so that you get the desired consistency and it's not a snotty mess. Chips are gonna drain off. Just classic patatas fritas. Okay, so we've got our split sauce, and we're just gonna re-emulsify it into our unsplit sauce, just to get the consistency right. So steak goes on the plate, our chips next to our steak. There's our green sauce, and that is the l'entrecôte steak and chips, green sauce. Not bad. It's almost too refined. I think the fact they do so many every day, they've just got the technique just nailed down. Even the way that they're probably the fries, the amount of time they sit, how far ahead their steaks are rested, like the consistency of them cooking those, however many. I wonder how many they do a day. It must be like hundreds. It's probably just, they probably just perfected those temperatures over literally years and years and years. If you want a quick steak and chips, and you want to, like, it's a little bit more expensive than home, obviously, but it's cheaper than a steak restaurant. It's like a good intermediary.
I will say, I think the sauce is absolutely banging. This is a great sauce for steak at home, if you ever wanted to make it. It's got all the hallmarks of a banging salsa verde mixed with a Café de Paris, just not quite the same on top.